Hey legends, back again on Day of News in WWE, your daily dose of WWE chaos and excitement. Subscribe, hit that bell, and let's roll into the action. They said Triple H was different. They said he cared about the wrestlers, the locker room, and the legacy of the business. But what happened to Liv Morgan tells a completely different story, one that pulls back the curtain on the cold, calculated side of WWE's so-called creative renaissance. Behind the public praise, the fanfare, and the corporate smiles lies a ruthless business decision that has left one of WWE's most beloved performers without a job, without closure, and without justice. This isn't about storylines or character arcs. It's about what happens when loyalty collides with the machinery of corporate wrestling. The rise before the fall, Liv Morgan's story was supposed to be one of triumph. She clawed her way from the developmental ranks, survived the breakup of the Riot Squad, overcame injuries, and earned her moment at the top. When she finally captured the Women's World Championship, fans felt it was a victory for every underdog who had ever been overlooked. WWE positioned her as a centerpiece, main eventing shows, carrying championship storylines, and connecting with fans in a way few superstars manage. For 2 years, everything pointed upward. But beneath the surface, a more cynical narrative was unfolding. Every push, every win, every storyline wasn't just about building a star. It was about inflating Liv Morgan's market value just enough to make her renewal impossible. The corporate game inside WWE's boardrooms, every decision is measured in dollars and metrics: social media engagement, merchandise sales, quarter-hour ratings. By those standards, Liv Morgan was thriving. Yet sources within the company revealed that executives had already labeled her replaceable. Behind closed doors, Triple H reportedly discussed her future not as a performer, but as an expense. When her name appeared on the list of upcoming renewals, a meeting was held in which the conversation was chillingly transactional. Liv was asking for what any champion would: main event pay. But in WWE's corporate playbook, being good isn't enough. You must be profitable and compliant. In that meeting, it was allegedly decided that paying her fairly would set a precedent they couldn't afford. A calculated decision. Instead of negotiating, WWE found a loophole. Rather than let her contract expire or reach a new deal, they would terminate it early, framing it as a performance issue to avoid severance and to strip her of leverage. It was a strategy designed not just to save money, but to send a message. Liv Morgan's success, ironically, became the justification for her dismissal. The higher she climbed, the more dangerous she became to WWE's bottom line. Executives viewed her popularity as both a blessing and a liability. By firing her before renewal, they could reset the salary scale and remind the roster who truly holds the power. The paper trail. The scheme didn't unfold overnight. About 6 months before her firing, Liv's life behind the scenes reportedly became a nightmare. Weekly performance reviews, an unheard-of frequency for top stars, began dissecting her every move. Critiques about her facial expressions, her promo timing, even her entrance mannerisms appeared in formal documents. Each note was archived, forming a dossier of supposed inconsistencies. To the outside world, she was shining on television. Backstage, WWE was quietly building a case to justify her removal. The intent wasn't to help her grow. It was to create paperwork that would stand up legally when the hammer dropped. The process was methodical, clinical, and heartless. Breaking the spirit. As the reviews piled up, the psychological weight began to show. People close to Liv describe those final months as emotionally draining. Every match became an audition, every promo a test. She began questioning herself, doubting instincts that had once made her so relatable to fans. The company that had built her up as an inspiration was now tearing her down from within. By the time the call came, she was exhausted, confused, and unprepared for how brutally impersonal the end would be. The gaslight and goodbye. What stung even more was the tone. Instead of ownership or honesty, Liv was reportedly made to feel as if she had failed. She was told her performances hadn't met expectations, despite evidence to the contrary. When she pressed for the real reason, the mask slipped. She had simply asked for more money than they were willing to pay. In one cold sentence, her journey from underdog to champion was erased. WWE had turned a beloved performer into an expendable asset. To add insult to injury, she was offered a chance to finish her run by losing several matches on her way out, a corporate ritual meant to devalue her on television before cutting her loose. Liv refused. The message to the locker room, Liv Morgan's firing, wasn't just the end of one woman's dream. It was a warning to everyone left in that locker room. Her departure sent shockwaves through the women's division. If a champion who delivered consistently strong performances could be discarded so easily, what hope did mid-card talent have? Within weeks, whispers spread among wrestlers reconsidering contract negotiations. Some were advised by agents to accept whatever WWE offered rather than risk backlash. Others quietly explored opportunities in other promotions, unwilling to gamble their careers on a company that had just betrayed one of its most loyal performers. The sense of family that Triple H once promised had been replaced by quiet fear. The illusion of change for years, fans believed that with Triple H at the creative helm, WWE had turned a corner. The old ways of ruthless corporate politics seemed to be fading. But this incident shattered that illusion. The truth is that WWE's culture never changed. It just learned how to disguise itself better. Behind the language of brand synergy and long-term storytelling lies the same ruthless business model that values profit over people. Liv Morgan's firing revealed that under the suits and slogans, the company still views its performers as replaceable pieces on a chessboard. Fan amnesia. The most cynical part of WWE's strategy is its reliance on the short memory of the audience. They know that outrage fades quickly. Today's controversy becomes tomorrow's nostalgia. They'll introduce new stars, launch fresh storylines, and trust that fans will cheer again as if nothing happened. History proves them right more often than not. Talent comes and goes, and the machine keeps running. But this time, the betrayal feels deeper. Liv wasn't just a wrestler. She was a connection point between fans and the hope that hard work could overcome politics. Her firing turns that hope into a hollow slogan. The broader impact. The ripple effect extends far beyond one name. Liv Morgan's situation has forced conversations across the wrestling world about fair pay, creative transparency, and respect for talent. It's reminded wrestlers that popularity doesn't guarantee protection, and that in WWE, momentum can vanish overnight. For women's wrestling especially, it's a setback. At a time when female performers have fought to be seen as equals, one of the division's most consistent draws has been removed, not for underperforming, but for knowing her worth. A reckoning for WWE Triple H once positioned himself as the antithesis of Vince McMahon's cutthroat leadership, a champion of wrestlers' rights, a visionary who cared about storytelling and respect. Yet his handling of Liv Morgan's exit reveals that the line between the old regime and the new one is thinner than anyone wanted to believe. What happened wasn't a creative misstep, it was a moral one. In choosing to treat a human being like a disposable asset, WWE exposed the emptiness behind its talk of progress and evolution. Conclusion: Liv Morgan's firing isn't just another headline, it's a mirror reflecting everything broken about the modern wrestling industry. It shows how quickly passion can be replaced by profit, how easily loyalty can be exploited, and how the dream of doing things differently can dissolve the moment money enters the conversation. For fans, it's a reminder to look beyond the spectacle and see the people behind the characters. For wrestlers, it's a warning that success in WWE is never secure, no matter how brightly you shine. And for Triple H, it's the legacy he may never escape. Not as the savior of wrestling, but as the executive who proved that even under new management, the machine still devours its own.